Hello, everybody. We are back from break for more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. When we left our party, they had been exploring more of the miniature castle. They'd found themselves in an armory where two demons apparated, transforming from the bats that they had been disguised as, and they are clearly intent on blood. So we're just going to immediately pop into the battle. So, we've rolled initiative. Everyone's ready to go as far as positioning. I'm going to go ahead and delete the cube then. And before we actually get into the combat, just for clarity, as soon as these things pop up, they start muttering back and forth to each other.
In what language?
What language?
In a very strange form. It is both abyssal and infernal.
Okay, all right.
I speak abyssal.
I speak infernal.
And there's you both catch different parts, and you both recognize the other parts, right? Though you don't understand them, but they seem to be using a lot of heavy jargon and lingo. But between the two of you, you basically get that there's some grunting and squealing that comes from them, and then one of them looks at the other and says, Mad Goth said kill anything that wasn't him, right? And the other one goes, yeah, let's do it, Yizig. And then they turn at you guys.
Yizig!
So, Matashtai, though Ezrah has just stepped into the room and this whole sequence of events has triggered, you are the lightest on your feet, the first to enter the fray. What would you like to do?
I run on in. Run here. I think I can get there. Yeah, I can get there. Dash past him to the other side of him, trying to confuse him and outflank him.
Freaking thing's being weird. Alright, this is what you guys see, by the way.
Oh, cool.
They're pretty neat.
Nice.
Okay, so you rush into the room. Right as you do, right, one of the one on the left points you out, and they both kind of like grin and grunt at each other like they're excited. And you do that whole like burst of speed around the one, and he kind of like slightly turns with you, like keeping you in his peripheral vision, and he's just smiling like this is about to be a grand old time.
Awesome. Okay. I crack him with my new staff.
Crack-a-lacka, let's go.
Right in his knee.
Oh, not the knee. Man, what is wrong with you? That's rude. 26 hits.
Crack. One. Bummer.
Wreck him.
Wreck him.
I attempt to stun him.
Wreck him. Alright, let me double check still for real quick. See what we got. Da-da-da-da-da. Alright. Yeah, okay, so.
Does Fairy Dragon count as a stun if you use legendary action?
Did you succeed?
Resistance? I did.
Not if you didn't stun him, you didn't.
I succeeded.
Nope. No can do. You're gonna have to find some normal-sized fairy dragons to punch to get that stun off.
How big are they normally? Are they like this?
They're like this, I think.
Like
No, they're not. They're not teeny tiny, but they're like a cat size or smaller. You know.
Okay.
I'll say you punch him and it's like that Genos versus Saitama fight where he just throws the fist and see like death. There's a giant fist. All you see is just a wall.
It's
of
like when he
knuckles.
slaps the bug monster at the beginning.
All right. We go for. This isn't a magical thing. Nope. Acha! You bring the staff into his midsection, and he kind of like it hits, and at first there's not a lot of give, and then there's this kind of like wheeze of air that comes out of the creature. And then you while that happens, right, Matashtai, the other one immediately starts jabbering, and you don't know what he's saying, but Ezrah and Ashes, the other one goes, "Oh, they got some punch."
And then
They say that in
Berserker Barrage him.
Yeah, a little like back and forth. Did you just say you Berserker Barrage him?
Yes.
All right, 29 hits.
Okay.
All right.
And then I flurry of blows.
Okay. Uh, 20 hits. Yep.
And with that one, I am going
Nice.
to
Crit. Hell yeah.
Hand of Harm. Ooh.
All right, what's
Good
my total?
damage. For
25
everything?
No, just for that last one.
25.
Oh, so 9 plus 16, 25.
So you begin to just lay into the this demon or this fiend, this creature, right? Culminating in a vicious strike to its like solar plexus, right? And the other one is just kind of like standing there the entire time with this battle axe on its shoulder, just jabbering. And Ashes and Ezra, the other one is just making this kind of like running commentary of just like harassing the one who is now getting its ass beat.
Okay.
Just poking
that
fun
is the end of my
at its expense, basically. All right, that's the end of your turn. Ezra, you're up.
Well, I mean, it's not like they die when they die.
Did it seem to take on significant wounds from the flurry from Matashtai, or...
Not significant, but it didn't not feel the blows. It obviously felt them.
Oh, also, if it can be, it's poisoned.
It does not seem to be poisoned.
I slowly start stepping out of the room, trying not to draw any attention.
The other one immediately like looks over at you and he kind of smiles and he like winks at you.
I kind of wave as I step out of sight.
He gives you one of these.
And then I go ahead and look at both
Beans, I swear.
Ashes and Bones. Do my thing.
Oh yeah, I'm hasted.
All right, you haste up Bones.
I hate both of them. I twin it.
Oh, Bones and Ashes. Nice. Okay. Gotcha. As soon as that happens, Ashes, you can see this, and I think Matashtai, you probably can't because you're a little occupied with this other fiend. But the one that's been kind of like animated and talking and kind of like watching things, right? Ashes, as soon as Ezra starts casting, this one starts sniffing the air. And then grinning real big.
Oh boy.
Bones, you're up.
It's a kista. Okay. Well, Matt's already in there. I don't need to worry about doing stupid shit. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. I can make my haste. No, I can do that actually, right? I can just move through Ashes, right?
Yeah.
5. 30.
Remember, your speed is doubled while you're hasted.
Oh, okay. I didn't have to do that then. I'll make it here.
Yeah,
Um,
a shit ton of movement speed, yeah.
I forgot about that. I'll be honest with you.
You also
Um,
get a +2 to your AC and have advantage on deck saves.
Yeah, but I'm immortal, so I don't really care about that.
Bones, you walk into the room, and as soon as you do, the unstunned fiend looks at you and kind of like he's got these big brows, right? These big bony eyebrow ridges, right? And it's kind of like overly animated with how like he furrows them and kind of like cocks his head. And he grunts over at his companion, who is still getting the shit beat out of him, mind you, right? He grunts over at him and he says something. And Ashes and Ezra, you're kind of able to catch little bits of it. He says, it's along the lines of he seems to be identifying the helmet, right? And kind of like in a quizzical manner.
Oh, hey,
Like kind of like a, hey bro, ain't that old Mad Goth's helm?
It's me. It's Cat Goth.
Cat Goth.
All right, well, I'll just go to stabbing.
Who you stabbing?
The stunned one.
The stunned one? Okay. Fair enough.
The injured stunned one.
Yeah.
I will be using Gore and the Troll King's Heartseeker. And the button I will press first is this one. I assume I get. He's stunned, yeah.
Yeah, he's stunned.
Yeah.
You Gucci.
Okay.
Fuck him up, man.
When I roll 17.
You plunge your dagger into his scaly hide, and it slides off. They are naturally thick boys.
That sucked. All right, well, I'll just do it again as my hasted action.
Yep.
21.
21 does pierce through this time.
All right, well, be snaked then,
He's snaked.
and also be wounded. And then I will.
Nine.
I'll find assault. So that is
Ooh.
minus
That's-
6. Oh, I didn't even hit. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's
Yeah.
another slide off. These guys have these scaly hides that you have to hit it the right specific angle, or else your daggers just skid off.
Yeah, whatever. I got the snake attack. Doesn't matter.
And you got the wound. All right, cool. Anything else?
Turn over. I've used all of my actions.
Ashes, you're up.
I drop to all four. I lower my head. I then transform into my lichen form. Let me get my globals turned on.
Okay.
And bam.
Boom. All right. Sounds good. You make a gore. You come charging in, and as soon as you do, right, like the demon who's not stunned, his eyes go from Bones in the helmet. He sees you, and he kind of like has this look of like, what? Kind of like on his face, and you just horns into the kind of like side of this other fiend,
21
and
damage.
you gore the shit out of him. And as that happens, right, the other one observes this, audibly laughs, and slaps his knee in witnessing this. Okay?
Alive.
Now he needs to make a strong.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's stunned. Does he auto fail?
That's a good question, actually. Does stun auto fail strength saves?
Can't remember.
I think it's dexterity.
Stunned. Condition stunned. Automatically
Strength
fails
and dex.
strength and dex. Nice. So he auto fails, so he just goes whap into the wall where he is knocked prone. He's kind of like slammed into the wall and slumps down onto his ass.
I take a step up
Okay?
and
He's just
as my
dumbstruck, kind of like looking up. The battle axe is kind of like laying in his
Yep.
lap now. He's just getting brutally hammered as you guys are just wailing on him.
This is the claw. That is
Crit.
12 damage.
Okay.
And then as my hasted action, I will claw again.
Okay.
Okay.
Secondary crit
Jesus.
for
Nice.
17 damage.
Nice. So,
Late at
so
night.
you just start
Lord.
ripping and tearing into his, into the front section as he's kind of like just left himself wide open between the stun and the knocking prone. You're able to just take this opportunity to just viciously maul this fiend. And the other one is still laughing, but as he's watching this, he's kind of laughing a little less. Like he thought the charge, the gore, was really funny, but the mauling less so. Okay.
I thought the charger was really funny.
All right. At the end of your turn ends, and it comes to these two fiends. The one on the ground begins to kind of like shake his head, clear his head, and it's the end of their turn, right? Mitch?
Stun? Yeah.
Yeah, end of their turn. So, and the change that we made is it's the end of their turn, not the start of yours, right?
Technically, by Raw, it's end of my turn.
End of yours.
But
Okay, yeah, that's super fucking powerful. Dear Lord Jesus. All right. So at the end, so this ends his turn. He's kind of just like clearing his head, and he looks up bleary-eyed at all of you, and he's covered in wounds, right? And he just looks over at the other fiend in kind of like shock, not like dismay or anything like that, just kind of like surprise, like dazed, like what the fuck just happened, right? And the other one mutters again in this kind of like grunting, squealing dialect of infernal and abyssal, and he says, "Ah, Gorzog, you got your ass kicked." And then the one who's been standing that entire time, he goes, bloop, and teleports on top of Ezrah.
Well, goodbye, Ezra.
Problematic.
He just all of a sudden just like there's this whoosh, just winks out of existence and goes poof, right next to you, Ezra, just like vroom, vroom, right next to you.
honestly.
Absolutely no comment at all.
And the other one just kind of like watches him leave, and he kind of like waves his hand in a very weird way towards the empty space where the other fiend just was. Anyways, the first one is going to swing that great axe at you, Ezra.
Oh, he gets to He gets to
teleport and
and
attack.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
So, but he doesn't get all of his attacks after he teleports. He just gets the one. So,
Oh, they have multiple attacks? Oh.
well, you guys might not find out. You might just beat their asses before that happens. He swings the great axe at you. Let's go for that. So, 23.
It's
Okay. Oh, you're not the one with that. Okay. So the gore wound. Good point.
That's the other. I don't think you've done that guy, right? I was just doing it.
Well, he technically goes first.
Enjoy that 1 damage.
Sounds good. So he teleports next to you, Ezra. He just grins down at you, and he says,
Not great.
He says, in that kind of broken dialect, you're able to kind of piece out. He goes, "I smell that magic." And then he tries to cut your ass in half. And he does a decent job of it. That breaks your concentration.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Well, we're
Bones
stunned.
And Ashes are stunned.
That's
Oh, no.
Like,
Oh,
more.
no.
Swing. Oh.
How long does that stun last?
turn.
Oh, is it just a turn?
Just until the end of their next turn.
Ah, okay. Well, that is the great equalizer. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
it seems that our roles have reversed.
need to make a Constitution save for the gore wound, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Constitution saving throw. What? 14?
It's a fail.
That's a fail? Okay, so he stays wounded.
It's 15, yeah.
And he takes the 1 damage. Alright, sweet. That is the end of their turns. Back to the top of the round, Matashtai, right? You see the one that you've been assaulting, he shakes clear of your stun. The other one winks out of existence, and then you hear this loud crash from the hallway, and I don't know, maybe a yelp from Ezrah if that's what he wants, to display, right? And then you see Bones and Ashes both go kind of like slack-jawed, and then you hear in your mind, Matashtai, you hear this that fiend that you're standing next to kind of like looks up at you, and you hear in your mind, better go look out for your friend. What do you
I don't know
do?
why I'm across as sexual deviance.
Okay.
What?
That's all I got, bro?
I just look at him and I say, okay, and I crack him across the head with
Okay.
my staff.
I mean, you have advantage. He's prone. Well, that's a 26. That's a hit. 12.
As I go, I'm gonna try and stun him.
Stun him? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Pete!
Damn,
Not
okay,
stunned
saves
this
from that one.
time.
Alright. 5, 10, 15. Does he get to want to swing with his...
You're prone.
Can you not take it? I thought
no,
you could
he
get a
absolutely can.
disadvantage.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it as prone.
Don't think that is correct, but I will look.
Yeah. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything on an opportunity attack saying that you can't. Let's check.
I guess you're correct. I could have sworn you couldn't do it.
To make an opportunity attack, you use your reaction to make 1 melee attack against the provoking creature. The attack interrupts the provoking creature's movement occurring right before they leave.
No, you're right.
okay.
They just has disadvantage. I don't
Right.
know why. I've always thought if you were prone, you couldn't make opportunity
So,
attacks.
yeah, as you kind of like try to rush away, you see a flash of movement out of the corner of your eye, and you see this creature's big, like as bigger than your thigh, right? Is his forearm, and he kind of like his green arm like flashes out, and you see his claws go from like a half an inch to like an inch and a half. All of a sudden they just like elongate, and he tries to slash at your legs as you run past, like you try to run away. So he's gonna make a claw attack against you, and we'll see if it hits. Huh! 12. No, you're just out of reach. The claws flash past, and he is unable to get you.
And I
Okay.
run.
All right.
20, 25, 30.
You come
35.
out of the room, and you see the other demon, and he looks at you, and he kind of like furrows his brow, and he kind of like waves you away. Just like,
No.
go away, shoo.
No. And I crack him with my staff.
Okay.
I'm gonna aim for his kneecap.
Kneecap.
Damn, that one misses.
Oh no! He kind of like actually rather nimbly dances out of the way, right? Like, oh.
Then I'm gonna make an unarmed attack.
Okay.
I'm gonna pole vault up on my staff and try and kick him in the side of the head.
Ooh.
Kick him.
All right. Kick him. You just connect with just enough force to actually do something. 18 is their AC.
Hell yeah.
All right. 12.
Nice.
So he dances out of the way, and then you kind of like do this trick up the side of the pole, and then woof, foot into the side of his head, and it's just like what? It just kind of like gives you this what look.
I attempt to stun him.
Okay. Here we go. We get. Oh, not disadvantage. Huh!
I have a pulse.
Stun!
Yes!
Woo! All right. This one is now stunned. Okay, cool. Anything else for your turn?
Nope.
All right, Ezra, you're up.
I give Ezra eyes and just kind of
Ezra, your turn.
So as I start walking past Matashtai, I look at the room and look at the oopsie.
Oops.
You're just both napping.
I start walking into the room as I channel within the room a fog cloud.
Ooh, okay. Centered on
The center of the room.
center of the room. Okay.
So it would seep out a little bit and cover Matt a little bit too.
So 20 foot is.
I thought it was bigger than that.
It is. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. About that. And then it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. So it's basically the room. Yeah. You pretty much get the entirety of the room. Okay, cool. So fog just begins to from the center of the room and begins to swirl slowly around, filling every nook and cranny in here. All right. Ezra, of note, you are about 5 feet away from the glass case that is on the wall, and you can see now quite clearly because it's just a transparent glass case. There's a scroll inside of the glass case. And there's a little bitty on a chain, like a little bitty hammer next to it, like a break glass in case of emergency hammer.
Interesting.
Okay.
Someone had to forge that.
All right. Bones, you are stunned. And now you are no longer stunned. It is the end of your turn. Ashes, you are stunned. Now you are no longer stunned. It is the end of your turn.
No longer stunned.
That is
Wake up.
that.
Oh, what's the dark? Did I die? Is this the afterlife?
So you both kind of like come to clearing your heads, surrounded by fog, and you can hear, the grunting of this fiend to the south of you, who at this point it is now its turn, and it's going to get up. But the whole area is heavily obscured. So heavily obscured.
Why is the whole area heavily obscured?
Because he filled the room with the fog cloud. Ezra did.
Well, that's just fantastic.
It's like I didn't want you to get free attacks against you or something.
It's like you wanted to say you're never sneak attacking again.
Because I can't drop it whenever the hell I want when your next turn is up.
Dropping the spell doesn't dissipate the cloud.
Does it not?
I don't think so. Not in a closed area, right?
It lasts for the duration or until
it's dispersed. Yeah. So either or. If he dismisses the magic, then the magic's gone.
Alright then.
Okay. I can't find what's the condition thing? Quick reference. It's in heavily obscured counts as blinded, right?
Yes.
I think so. I can't remember.
It's not on. It's on that sheet I just sent you. Effectively blind.
Yeah, effectively blind. So it counts as blinded. So
Suffers
it
from
can't
the
see.
blinded condition. Yeah.
Automatically fails any ability to check that requires sight, and it has disadvantage, and attacks against it have advantage. But you're all blind, so it's neutral. And it doesn't have to see to know where you were just a moment ago, or to try to bump into you. So this big demon gets up, and can kind of feel you there, ashes, right?
He just holds you and stabs.
And then you hear this kind of grunt, and is almost kind of like a boxer that kind of squares up on you. You feel a hand come out and kind of like touch you, right? And then you hear this whistling as an axe is swung towards you, right? Yeah. So, incoming axe at normal because you are also blind. So, a great axe, 27 to hit. All right.
I suppose that hits.
It hits, and it carves into you. You take the full 14.
Magical.
You see as this thing it hits you, there's this kind of like gleam across the axe, right?
Cool.
And then he kind of like grunts and snickers, and that hand that had been pawing at you, right, to kind of like square up on you, you hear this kind of like ching sound, and he swipes at you with his claws. $19?
That actually misses.
Ooh, okay. So there's just this bare scratch as the claws come down across your breastplate.
Hold on. I don't have haste anymore. So 18 AC plus 1 for feral.
Yeah.
That still hits.
Meets it,
That
beats
still
it.
hits.
So you kind of try to step away, but the claws find
I'll
you.
use my reaction. I cloak.
Ha!
Thank
you, Zach. All right.
Sorry, wow, Jeremy, I've had you make you narrate this 3 times.
Back and forth. So you're trying to dodge out of the way. You're not gonna make it, and instinctually, right, your mind reaches out, and that shadow unfurls and just manages to intercept the claws in front of you, and kind of like absorb that blow, slow it down just enough so that you can pull out of the way, and it just slashes through the darkness in front of you. So.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, nice. And then the demon that you had just stunned, Matashtai, is no longer stunned. Kind of like shakes the kick off of its head, right? Just kind of like shakes his grunts and looks at you. Looks first where Ezrah was and kind of like frowns, and then looks at you and goes, shakes his head, just frowning, looking at you.
It's you and me, big boy.
All right. And it's back to your turn. You're up.
Okay.
Wound for the one that is wounded. Roll your wound. You take is the wound damage first, or does he do the save first?
First.
Save first?
No, the damage is first, and the
Damage
save
first.
is at the end.
Okay, gotcha. So he takes 3. And he tries to save. Does not. Holy crap. Alright. Matashtai, it's your turn.
Run over here. I run up the wall, and I try and whap him in the shoulder.
He kind of like looks.
The
I love the imagery here of like this big ass fucking green demon with wings and various like bits and bobs of armor pieces and kind of like all put together, and this big axe just kind of like frowning, and he looks way too big to be wedged into the space, and Matashtai is just like half the size, kick in the face, type shit. Like it looks cool in my head. Headcanon.
Crack my staff on his shoulder. Don't think that one.
He takes it, he grunts, and he smiles at you, and he says,
Using the momentum of my swing, I stand on the ceiling above him, and I whack on his wing.
So he sees you go up on the ceiling, and he's like, he flinches like he's waiting for you to push off, and then you just stay there, and he's like, what? He's like confused for a second.
Crack.
And that gives you kind of like this one like opening moment, and he's like, wait, what? Because you're just standing on the ceiling, and he's like, excuse me? And you smack him in the wing, and he kind of like howls. Ooh, nope.
I attempt to stun him.
Instead of taking 10 damage, I set his health to 10. That is incorrect.
You can do that. That's okay.
I mean, that's
No.
fine.
Oh
He might
no.
have more health than he had.
Oh no. You attempt to stun?
Yes.
All right.
Meets it, beats it.
Beats it.
Yep.
You get a good solid blow on him, right? He wasn't expecting it, but it was the wing, right? It wasn't quite enough to like stun the whole creature, and now he's like he's just shaking his head at you, and he's smiling now. He's like entertained by how like bouncy and all over the place you are. He's just like he seems to be having a good time.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna flurry of blows. And I'm gonna axe kick down from the ceiling.
Okay.
Nope. And then sweep the leg, Johnny.
Sweep the leg, Johnny. That one
with
hits.
that.
You. Whoof, he kind of like ducks back,
That's
and then you.
insane.
Whoof. All right, another 11.
Yep, and one more stun attempt.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Johnny.
No.
Yep.
No dice.
All right.
He's just
well,
like
gonna get
he's
to-
on to you. He's got your tricks, and he's just like,
Well, he's gonna get to swing on me. This is gonna hurt.
All right, Ezra, you're up. You can hear
it's
the
fine. It
battle
doesn't feel too
raging
great.
outside, and you hear the battle raging inside too. It's just you can't see what's going on inside.
I dropped the fog cloud.
Okay. Just as suddenly as your vision was taken by the permeating fog all around you, it just vanishes. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I can see. I can fight.
I can see.
And then I go ahead and... Sure, why not? Nice. Cool. Fun.
Swipe, send out a spectral claw at the injured southern fiend. But it's in this melee with ashes, and now they're beginning to kind of like move about. You swipe at an opening, but it just either doesn't connect or just skitters off the scaly hide. Anything else for your turn?
No.
Bones, you're up.
No way to get advantage. Is he still on the ground? Or did he get up?
No, he's up.
Fuck.
I mean, you could hold your attack and move into place and wait till I move into place to get advantage.
Nah, because I could just make 2 attacks. It's the same thing.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Held attacks are
Just one.
just one.
Yeah, I just come
Yeah.
down. I just come. I don't even care. I'll be right here. I'll make 2 attacks.
Bones
Mayhem.
covers the distance, stands next to you, Ashes, and you both face off against this fiend. Do you guys want to just go at this? No. All right. Bones lashes out, knowing, right, that you need a little bit more force, right? You wait for a good opportunity, duck under one of the blows, and shove the dagger up into the creature's stomach. And as you rip the dagger out, it falls to one knee. And it doesn't howl or cry out in pain or anything like that, but it does yell out something. And Ashes, Ezra, you both kind of like are able to take a moment. And it's very broken lingo. It basically, it yells out the other's name. It goes, Izig! Gotta go home! And then its
Gotta
whole body
combine.
just goes, whoosh, and just incinerates. Everything disappears. Just
Oh.
instantly gone.
So I keep my offhand attack then.
You keep your offhand attack, yes.
Well then, I come up here and I whip it at him, sharpshooter.
Okay, gotcha.
Hold on, I gotta get over to the button.
dart towards the doorway, whip the offhand out the door towards the other fiend.
16.
Clatters into the wall next to him, but he does hear the other demon, and he kind of has this thoughtful face for a second, right? Ashes, you're up.
Okay.
There's this flash of heat and smell of sulfur as this demon just poofs in front of you.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take 3 damage,
Okay.
and I'm gonna write up. What did I? I don't think I actually. -3, enter. Okay, there it is. And we're going to give myself some. Thunder. And I'm gonna just there, and I'm gonna scooch on by Matt
Okay.
and claw, and boom,
Okay. 26 hits.
and 27
And-
hits. Or that's
Both hit. What's your total?
19 total.
19. All right. Begin to carve into this fiend.
Yeah.
Anything else
19.
for your turn?
That'll be end turn.
All right. So one demon felled, or one fiend felled. The other one's still up. This one, now kind of like pushed back, looks at Ashes, right? Claws out. Looks at Matashtai, and it hefts its axe, flips it upside down, holds it out to the side, and drops it onto the ground. And there's this big, like, boom, as it just, like, sinks into the ground. And then it holds up both hands, and whoosh, these fucking talons come out. And it basically goes into, I'm gonna fight you claw to claw mode, right? Because Matashai's been, like, punching it, and now you're coming at it clawing, right? It's like, all right, let's claw, right? And
Let's claw.
I think it's for all the fun that it's, you know, Ashes came in clawing. It's got a little bit of a bone to pick with Matashtai for kicking it in the head, so it's gonna attack Matashtai at least to start with. So first claw, 14. That's a miss. Second claw.
Catch its claw on the staff. Oh god, that one's gonna hurt.
Oh, not gonna catch that.
So
as I'm like holding it
you
up.
catch it, and he brings the other one and just
Did I?
across your belly.
Oh!
What's that? Hold on. No, it doesn't matter. I was about to say, yeah, go ahead.
Are you curse of the blood curse of the
Oh,
eyeless?
it's not-
Isn't gonna matter in this
that's
situation.
not gonna matter. It's
Yeah.
still, it's not gonna reduce a 29.
So you take 20 damage as these claws rake across your stomach, Matashtai. You feel this slight burn across the wound, and you glance down.
Poison?
It's not poison, but you glance down, and there is an inky blackness in the blood of your wound.
That seems
Damn, you're-
bad.
You're infected.
And it looks at you, and its eyes just kind of widen, and it nods, and it brings the claws back up, one set dripping with your blood now, and it's looking at you like, oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get
I'm like
you.
hunched over, holding my stomach.
Hold on.
Everybody gets one.
What are you immune to? You're immune to. It's not disease, right?
Disease and poison.
Disease and well.
None of these are this. This is
Demon magic.
wholly unnatural. Yeah, this is demonic in nature, fiendish in nature. This has to do with Iker.
Baker?
Gotcha. Icker.
I'm not gonna... Anyways, so Matashtai, you're up.
Okay. Reeling from that mortal blow, I try and pummel its hands with my staff, try and make him not want to claw at me. Pop, pop, swing his hands. Pop, pop. And I attempt to stun him with one of those.
Real quick. Boom. All right. Okay, so both hit. That is 28 damage, and you're gonna attempt to stun with one or both in succession. I mean, we'll figure it out. There. We'll do the first one. We'll do the first one, and does not hit.
Okay.
Do you want to do the second one?
Yeah, I might as well.
Yay!
Yay!
All right. The first one you hit, and he just kind of like his belly jiggles right with the blow. It's not the concussive force you want it to be, and he actually starts kind of like belly laughing at you, and you take the chance to just like sucker punch him, and it kind of like spins his eyes in his head, so he is stunned and dazed for the turn.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
My bonus action, I'm going to flurry of blows. I'm going to punch him. I'm gonna punch him right in his gut. See how he likes it.
I mean, y'all weren't 2v1ing. This is bullshit. I mean, that's a hit. Definitely a hit.
Hand to harm with that one too. So
what's the damage?
it is 11 total.
Okay. Very good.
And then with my other flurry of blows, I'm going to try healing myself.
Okay.
So I have Physician's Touch.
He's got the touch.
Blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. It said it was not poisoned.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and end that effect anyway. I try to cure myself of the fiendish poison.
Okay. Are you healing yourself?
Yes.
Like, do you actually... Oh, okay. So you actually take 5 points of healing.
Yes, yeah.
And you're trying to remove an effect. Okay, so... Yeah, let's see this. What is your hand of... What is the source of your hand of healing and hand of harm? Are these magical effects? Or are these like some weird...
From my understanding, they're considered magical effects.
Okay. They're not
I think
some
we had
like...
this conversation a while back.
They're not some weirdness where you're like managing to suture the wound in like 3 seconds, right?
No.
Okay, gotcha. As you heal yourself and the wound across your stomach begins to knit close, it does in fact knit close. There doesn't seem to be any resistance to that or anything like that. But that icky blackness, kind of as it begins to knit close, it pushes out of the wound as the wound is healing, and it pools up until it's kind of like water surface tension type of scenario. There's too much of it, and it kind of like plops off of your body and splashes in a spray of black ichor or ichor at the bottom of your feet. The effect seemingly removed.
Okay.
There's no longer a blackness to the remainder of the wound.
Do I get the feeling that it was just the healing, or was it like the removal of poison part of it?
You could roll me a medicine check.
Okay. Ooh, not at advantage, but
18 is pretty good. It seemed to be the magical healing that in and of itself seemed to like drive the fiendish presence out. You didn't remove an effect per se, just the healing itself. Because of the magical nature of it, it seemed to counteract whatever the fiendish presence was doing.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
That is the end of my turn.
All right. Ezra, you're up. Battle rages outside in the hall.
Beetle.
Bethiel.
I poke my head out. I join the clawing fray.
Clawing fray, hey!
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
that's
Hey,
good.
More claws.
All
There's a
right.
big claw.
You claws them.
What is that, 31?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of
That's
like
ridiculous.
slash through some of the wings and through the side, and there's just this
Damaged.
blackened, necrotic tracks through the
That's a
side of the
lot of
creature.
damage.
Very nice.
And,
All right.
and then I hide.
Okay. Bones, you're up.
That sets me on bones. Okay. 5, 15. Maybe not 15.
Don't want to be
Yeah.
in melee?
I mean, I'll just stay here and throw regular dags.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Tag.
Have at it.
Normal bone dag. Pew.
All
I
right.
didn't-
Normal bone
off-
dag.
Offhand.
Now, it is
bone
at
dag.
advantage because he's stunned.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. No, I roll it again.
He rolls it again.
Yeah, I did it.
29 hits, whereas the 17 did not. Okay, so that is 34 damage. So your dagger finds purchase, but you can tell from how deeply it penetrated into the creature that it doesn't do as it's not magical. It's not a magical weapon, so it doesn't pierce through the creature's somewhat resilient hide.
Oh, was unaware that they were resistant.
I think that was the first time you guys have attacked him with a non-magical substance.
Well, that goddamn blows. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. But
Huh.
now the knowledge retained in your mind, you're like, fuck me. Okay, what now?
Fine. 5, 10. And I guess I'll stab him with gore, because
Okie dokie.
goddamn bullshit. Which one of these goddamn buttons is the fucking offhand button? This is gore, but it's not labeled gore.
Okay,
It's a fucking nope. It's advantage.
advantage.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
Yeah, everyone, hold the phone. Everybody, hold it. Okay, it's a natural.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right.
It is what it is. Whatever. Slash roll 1d20. There you go. This is another natural one. Wow, that's shocking.
No, you're good. Critical is not confirmed. Nothing
Demon takes your
adverse
dagger and
happens.
disappears.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I
But
spent multiple days upgrading that dagger, so yes, that would happen.
all right. So you just come in and there's just too much action between Matashtai and Ashes and you trying to get in the fray. You basically you foul yourself trying to avoid them and get a good hit in on the creature. So
It is what it is.
just wasted time. Anything else? That's it.
Now turn over.
Ashes, you're up.
All right. Berserker Barrage.
Berserker Barrage.
Now is this advantage still?
Yeah, you're good. Yep, absolutely.
All right.
He's
Air.
still reeling.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
Yeah. And.
Yeah. Yep. And
Wow.
yeah, all hits. What's your total damage?
22, 27, 28, 29.
29 total damage.
Total damage.
All right, so you just begin to carve into this
Yeah.
guy, but he's still standing, right? Like, yeah, just ripping and tearing into the side of him, into his upper thigh, into his lower belly. And he's trying to kind of like, when they're stunned, they're not just kind of just completely, they're trying to like fight back or trying to like push you off of them. right? They're just incapable of actually acting against you. So, you just begin to put the hurt on this guy. Anything else?
Unfortunately, no. That is the end of my turn.
All right.
Fortunately, no.
His turn ends. He becomes unstunned. And he kind of like the daze leaves his eyes, and he looks down at himself, just covered in bruise marks and broken bones, and this like carving of necrotic across his body, these claw wounds all on one side, this dagger like jammed into his clavicle, right? And he looks at you all, kind of, but specifically you, Matashtai, and he speaks into your mind. He says, "That was a good fight," and it's your turn.
Yeah, it was. And I jump up and I crack him across the head, like down with the staff on top of his head.
Gotcha.
Oh, not an advantage. But
18 hits.
Crack.
Rack.
And then
He had 15 HP. It was. And you just stove his head in, and there's a half second of like, you know, an anime scene where this happens, the staff crunches in, and it kind of like caves in the entire forehead, and you can't see the eyes or anything anymore, but you still see the smile across the mouth, right? And then the whole thing just whoosh up in flame and smoke. Even the axe, which isn't even being touched by the creature right now, also just bursts into flames and disappears.
That's like super Castlevania, like all the enemies
absolutely.
just consume in flame, like weapon and all.
And he's just fucking gone. And a few moments pass, and that is the end of that. So.
I used a lot of key.
Used a lot of key. That was a shit ton of key. But I mean, this is a new day. You guys still have 2 short rests left. You get all your key back on a short rest. You're fine, right? That is the point.
How hard it hit Ezrah, I was like, I cannot afford these things to just start beating on us.
I don't know that you guys are ever going to get to see these guys again, so I just want to share this because I think it's really cool. But that claw that it did to you, right? When it does that, when it hits someone with a claw, the wound is a fiendish wound. Each time it hits, it increases the damage dealt by 5, or by an additional 2d4. Right, so the damage of the claw is originally 2d6. So
That's
each wound
cray, bro.
stacks up 2d4. So it's 2d6 plus 2d4 plus 44 plus 64 plus 8d4.
I want that a lot.
So
I do have that.
It's kind of interesting. But they couldn't get a chance to like stand and Berserker Barrage with any of you. 1, because of the stuns, and 2, because of just the movement back and forth. But I thought it was pretty cool. All right.
Scary.
So before we do anything else, and I forget. What? Right. So I gotta reference some things real fast. Okay, gotcha. So
Start, like, I love, like, the player Jay loves how, like, you know, devil may care they are about, you know, death. But Ashes doesn't. Ashes wants to put the fear in them. He, like, maybe he should start hawk shitting him in Infernal and be like, "I'll find you in Avernus, you piece of shit."
That's
Like
how you
right
get
as they're
devils
dying,
coming
so
after you constantly.
so they'll be there like, he was kidding, right?
We already
Right? He
have
was kidding. That was
Drow.
a joke. He's
You definitely
not.
can't get to Avernus, right?
No, surely not.
What do you, so that's what you envision in your mind, but what actually happens if we transition to wherever they arrived, right? Like, it's actually them going, "Did you hear him? He said he was gonna come for us! Oh man, that's so exciting!" They're like the I imagine them as like the
Hans and Franz.
yeah, well, the Hans and Franz demons from like Dragon Ball Z, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or you know,
mean
that type of scenario.
In 4-star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so
And it's not like we don't already have one fiendish creature hunting us.
Oh yeah. That has
Yeah.
a dwarven companion.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably
So-
not companions per se, but
Giggity.
you all gain
Yeah.
2,500 experience for the Mage's Armory.
Mitch really shouldn't have betrayed her.
Fuck off.
You really shouldn't have.
Really?
Fuck off.
94,
All right, Mitch. You and I should be at 94,750.
Yep.
All right. So that's sudden surprise, a fiendish attack, a little bit of pain, but for the most part, you guys weathered that well enough, right? So, what now?
Ezra turns and looks at the cabinet.
Okay. It is a wholly enclosed glass case, about 2 feet tall and a foot wide or so. And there doesn't seem to be any way to open the thing, excepting that there is a little hammer on a chain and a little sign that says, break glass in case of emergency.
I mean, it's not an emergency. What if the whole thing explodes?
Then there's an emergency.
Well, yeah, but because the castle just
manu-
exploded.
Manufactured.
What if it's a self-destruct switch?
We just be safe and take the glass box with us and break it outside of the castle.
It's built into the wall. It's not
It's built
mounted
into the
on
wall.
anything. It's like the glass goes into the wall.
He says,
My
"Fuck your
dwarven
idea."
sensibilities say this cannot be removed.
Yeah, Jeremy does that a lot.
And it's like, what, right over here?
It's actually right to the north of you on this wall.
I'm going to move 30 feet away.
My God, he's gonna break your legs in the room.
Right there. Okay.
I'm going to summon my mage hand,
Okay.
pick up the hammer,
10 pounds of force.
and tink.
Kink. There's this slightest little impact point, right? Of little shattered glass point.
Yep, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Tink. Splinters out a little more. Tink. Spider webs across the majority of the front. Tink. The whole thing is basically like shatter point. Tink. The whole front of it just kind of like caves in. Glass spews down onto the floor. Nothing happens.
I use the mage hand to pick up the scroll.
Floats back over towards you.
I take it and I look at it. Can I interpret what it is?
It's a
It takes
stealth
you-
alarm.
It doesn't take you especially long to kind of like read through before you can determine that it seems to be a scroll for a spell that you're maybe somewhat vaguely familiar with. You probably heard about in the past. I don't know if you have any experience with it, but it's the spell Cloud Kill.
Ooh.
Ezra pockets the scroll.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be anything else here. What would you all like to do now?
Nothing else here. That was just the case.
That was it. The case and the 2 bats.
Bitch ass armory.
Yeah, what a fucking awful armory, dude.
I mean, I think one of you guys said it at the start of this. Oh, you know, of course a mage would have demons as his armory.
Alright, I exit the room.
That was me.
Right?
And head towards this door.
Back to exploring, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah,
Back
one
to
door
exploring.
left.
All right. Indeed, one door left in the northeastern corner of this floor. You find a unseen servant standing outside of it, wiping away at the wall, like cleaning the walls. And the door itself, the frame has a very recognizable Waterdeep made shard, a silver piece, wedged into the door frame. From a recent minting, it looks like.
I mean, alright.
Okay.
I mean, if the door opens, yeah, I open it.
Door opens. And beyond, you see a room.
A room! Oh, look, there's a star. There must be a statue.
Statue
A
inside.
room.
Oh, yep. The stars are always statues.
So-
Rooms.
Couple things in this place. Embedded into the middle of the south wall is a rectangular mirror set into a stone frame. Very recognizable as things that you have come across before.
Oh, it's a portal?
Standing
Okay, we
in
found-
front of the mirror is an unfinished 8-foot tall statue of a merfolk blowing a conch shell. The lower body is replaced by a misshapen block of chiseled granite. So it's just kind of like this upper torso with the arm and the merfolk head and everything like that.
Sure.
Along the walls of the room are 4 well-crafted tridents just hanging in between the arrow slits.
Okay. Shall we check out the portal?
Head over
Yeah.
towards the portal.
What do we call it? What are they? Waystone? Way gates? Gateways? What the hell are they called?
Portals.
We just call them portals.
Oh, okay, the portal. Yeah, check the portal.
Okay. You head over to the portal, investigate it. Etched into the bottom of the mirror's stone frame are the following letters: T U O Y A W.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
What were they again? Hold on, what were they?
T-U-O-Y-A-W.
O Y A W.
The Woya portal.
20 yay. 20 y'all. 2 oya. 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 2 oya.
Oh,
There are no other
guys.
demarcations.
What the fuck that means?
Yeah, I know what it means.
What does it mean?
It's way out.
Way out, bro.
I'm gonna take some liberties here and say Ashes says it's way out, and the portal goes silvery.
Alright, cool. Well, we found that. No fucking idea where it goes.
Okay.
Oh, that's a cheap one to open.
Yeah, that
Feel
one's
like
not so bad, huh?
You know what? Take DM inspiration on that one, Jay. Because I'm not sure anyone else was gonna struggle bust their way on that.
I mean, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't picking up what you were putting down yet.
Yeah, I had no goddamn idea.
What you reaching for? What you reaching for? Alright. Portal goes silvery. You don't do
I'm not
anything
going in.
else, and after about a minute or so, it
Zoom.
goes back to being a mirror.
Does the
Okay.
the beginning work of this sculpture remind me of anything? Its inspiration or
Particularly, it's well made, or what is made of it seems well made. It seems to be an artist's work, half finished. But it doesn't call out to any historical moment in your mind or seem to be a reference to anything. It seems to be a well-crafted merfolk blowing a conch shell.
very well.
I mean, okay, cool. Portal room.
Okay.
Up, do we? I think that finishes up this floor. I guess we check the second one.
Hold on. There was a bunch of like tridents on the wall.
There are tridents, 4 tridents,
I mean,
around
I'll
the
go
room.
like look at one. See if
They
there's.
they made out of bone.
Yeah, look at it. Made out of bone trident.
It is not made out of bone. They're made out of metal.
I'm uninterested. Then metal's trash.
Bone didn't.
But you go up to inspect one.
I mean, I
The well-crafted trident.
mean, I'll. The
Seems balanced well. There's no like gleam
I don't-
or glint to it or anything like that,
The-
you know. But
I guess if it seems mundane, I guess I'm not gonna bother because
I
I
mean,
don't
we're shit.
need a trident.
Yeah, to the sea.
Har, me hearties. Yeah, I guess I'll put it back.
I'm a sea demon now.
slot it back on. It's got these little hooks that it hangs on. Slot it back on.
I'll give it a little tug on the hook, see if the hook's like depressed and something unlocks somewhere. It's like, you know, Resident Evil shotgun. You put
There's
the rack.
resistance, right? So there's no like,
All right. Yeah.
pull or anything.
All right, that's all I got.
You found a portal. You found a way gate. Remember it for later and head back out of the room. Where to now?
Yeah, I guess we can take the stairs down to the next level, right?
These stairs just to the south of you.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, yeah. If I remember,
Gotcha.
we covered like much of the left of the second floor, anyways, which I can actually just zoom out and see.
Okay, that looks to be correct. Yes, sir.
Actually, no, it looks all uncovered. Nope.
I don't.
yeah.
I don't see the right side
No,
uncovered.
the right side's not uncovered. I was looking at the wrong quadrant.
I will exploring.
Back to exploring. You come down the stairs and begin your exploration of the rest of floor 2. You come out. There's a door to the northeast. There's doors to the south. Where do you want to head? There's the central door that you guys never went into. If you want to reference your handy-dandy map.
We didn't go into that? Why is it partially revealed?
Partially revealed because it has
pillars.
windows.
You were on the other side? Yeah.
You could see kind of into the room a little bit from
I mean, why don't we?
opposite
You
side.
think we start here and we go down and then come back because we got to go down here, right?
To leave.
Is that what? I mean, let's do it. Yeah, whatever. Here.
Okay. You head up to this door.
Again, if it opens, I just open it. Whatever, man. I'm invulnerable.
Invulnerable vagrant.
Haven't tested that
What we got?
since, so.
Okay. You throw the door open. And inside, you find this room smells faintly of charcoal and smoke. There's a canopied bed standing against the south wall. Its curtains are black and they're drawn down. There's other furnishing in the room, including a coat rack by the door, a chest with clawed feet at the foot of the bed, a wardrobe, a writing desk with a matching chair, all well-made, well-crafted, dark woods, dark reddish woods, for the most part.
Okay. It's a
The canopy
it's a
bed
furniture.
and
Oh, it's a bedroom.
the canopy bed and its curtains are drawn close, and like I said, the curtains are black. They're not see-through, so it's basically just like this bed chamber with fine furnishings and this canopied bed that's just sealed away by its curtains.
Last time I touched a bed, I nearly died. So I don't really want to do that. To be honest.
Helmet on now.
You're right. I touched the bed.
You head over to the bed. You draw back the curtains.
Yeah, but I don't uncover any sleeping people.
You draw back this black curtain shroud, and lying upon the bed, you find a charred skeleton, clad in robes and clutching the blackened stub of a wooden wand, perhaps? Some small wooden implement. The bed seems remarkably undamaged, though its covers are stained with ash from the skeletal remains.
Okay. Nothing blew up.
That's odd. Is that Mad Goth?
Mad God.
Oh. You don't think Mad Goth's room is the one with the monogrammed M robes?
Maybe that's the trick.
Is there anything in here that looks expensive, Jeremy?
All of the furniture looks expensive, but it's large furniture. There's nothing, there's no jewelry or anything.
Bag?
There's nothing
Chest
that's
sets?
laying out that you're like, oh yeah, let me pilfer this, or, no.
Well, if there's nothing I can pilfer, I exit the room.
Okay, fair enough.
Now that
Any-
the bed has not exploded.
Any investigations from anyone else, or you move on?
Yeah, the wooden implement.
Yeah, okay.
Does it seem intact despite its maybe?
No,
Hard
it
to-
seems as if it used to be a larger hole and it has been burned down to a stub.
I give up as well.
Yeah.
I like the concept of like each room is a room that there's something to succeed on, which is not the case. Like the giving up thing.
We have
It's like,
failed
okay.
like 8 times tonight.
My concern
No,
is that
definitely
the
not.
one time I don't try to figure it out is
Oh
the
yeah,
one time there's something
absolutely. There's
You can't
there's
tell me that the invisible lichen room isn't something.
this is a part of adventuring, of exploring, right? Is running across a bunch of things and being like, surely there's maybe there. I
there.
don't
All
know.
have nothing in them. Just
We
all.
found something in most of them. What do you mean all can't have nothing?
So, from this northeastern chamber, the plan was to head south.
Well, last one had goddamn bats that turned out to
Right?
be demons.
Yes.
You head down the hallway. You can see the courtyard down below, and you find this first door is closed, and it has nothing in its frame. I'm assuming
if it can be open the boot.
he Bones throws open the doorway, and within you find a cloak room. Coats, cloaks, robes, wizards' hats, other apparel just hanging from hooks on the walls here. There's dozens of outfits, dozens of options, and standing in the northeast corner at the back of these rows of coats and cloaks and robes and hats is a familiar looking creature. Purpley, oily skin, tentacles dangling from its face, robes, black flowing robes seem to hover and hang there.
I close the door.
That's it.
Closes the door.
Yeah, hey, there's a mind flayer in there.
Was it alive?
I don't know. It was just there.
You couldn't see if it was squiggling or breathing or anything with
I could not.
your high ability to catch minute detail.
I've seen like one of them ever.
Maybe we should make sure it's, not alive, because if we leave it there, then it might,
Reach out to
Yeah.
it with your mind palace. See if it's alive.
I'm not making a mental connection with a mind flayer.
It's fine. You have two minds.
You are out of your goddamn mind if you think I'm gonna do that.
You hear Valina in your mind saying, like, yeah, that's a good choice. Good choice.
My helmet only
I
protects
support
me
this
from
decision.
physical harm, bro. Not from being mind controlled. Do you want a mind controlled immortal servant?
A a fucking something mind controls Bones while he's got the immortal hat on, and he just comes at you guys. That would be fun.
Take the damn helmet off him.
Right?
He's gonna fight you on
and
it.
then beat his ass.
He's gonna fight you on it.
Look, I've retrofit a freaking latch.
It's a strap.
Strapped on me.
You retrofitted a latch on it.
Look, words are hard. Often words are hard.
So, Bones opens the door to this coat room, sees a creature inside, closes the door swiftly. What would the party like to do now?
Well, I mean, like,
What do you guys want to do?
I don't want to just murder everything
I'll
for
go
the
up to
sake
the
of
door,
murdering
I'll be like,
everything. But like,
hey, you cool?
Oh, that's a good plan. Hey, you cool, bro?
There is no response.
also I get worried about a mind flayer getting out and gaining control of the stone giants.
Well,
You alive?
There is no response.
Alright, I want fucking
Matt walks
You
in.
need help.
Throw the door open.
fucking.
Matt walks in.
Hey, you alive?
You walk right up to this floating
I'm going
creature,
with them. Like,
and you
I'm not
realize
gonna leave him.
it's not floating. It's hanging from a hanger. It's
Costume?
It's a fucking mind flayer suit.
Yo, okay, I'm
Sorry.
taking that because I can speak into minds and be like, I am a mind flayer.
Oh no! Not okay.
It's you begin to kind of like inspect it, and it's a full on decked out costume rubber mind flayer suit.
Why the fuck would he have this?
think
I
the
have
real
no idea, but I'm
question is,
totally taking this.
why not?
Oh no.
I take it off. I'm gonna try it on real quick. Does it fit?
It's you realize, like, as you're kind of like you're inspecting it, it's not a quick process to try it on. It's like getting into latex. It's
I'll
form
help.
fitting. It's
You'll
like,
help? You'll like zip up your back.
yeah, it's gonna be like a 10-minute process to like get into this thing, but it just a
Okay, I'm not gonna put it on now. Then
visual inspection, it does look like it probably fits about your size. It probably, maybe a little alteration here or there, but for the most part, you're good.
Find a tailor.
I stuffed that into my bag of holding.
It's just this bundle of rubber and weird cloth, and there's a breastplate with it, right? Like this kind of like weird. It's not a full breastplate. It's this sectioned piece that kind of like rolls in on itself. It's almost like rolling up an inflatable mattress, right?
Okay, so how heavy is a mind flayer suit?
It's about 10 pounds.
It's not that bad.
That's not
No,
bad.
It's,
at all.
it's actually not bad at all.
If it comes with a suit of armor, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's strangely not
Rubber.
bad.
You mean
That's definitely
magically not bad? Is that what you mean?
It's definitely not cursed. He's not going to actually
Oh,
become a
man.
mind player by
What
putting
if
it on.
it's actually cursed, and the only curse is he can't take it off. It's completely normal otherwise.
Or you
That would-
actually just become a
pretty
mind
cool.
player.
So, other than that, right? This closet is just filled with robes and cloaks and capes and hats, and noticeably, right now that you're all in here and kind of like looking at this thing and looking around yourselves, noticeably from a bunch of different shapes and sizes of people. Right? These are not all cloaks and capes and caps and hats and things for the same person, not unless that person is in the habit of changing their shape and size frequently. These are the garments for a lot of different people.
Weird.
Anybody looking for something?
I think so.
Other than an elephant costume?
I don't know. Not unless anything appears extremely expensive. If anything appears extremely expensive, then I'm
Nothing
interested.
appears to be extremely expensive. Some of the stuff is well made, nicely made. Some of it's silk. Some of it's, various furs and leathers and items that are well made and crafted, but they're not going to fetch you hundreds of gold or anything like that. I mean, if you gathered them all, some of them would probably sell for, 5 gold, 10 gold, that type of thing. But you're not a tailor, you're not into fashion, it'd be hard to figure out which is which.
True that. I am definitely not. Okay then. Sounds good. Sweet suit. Hope it's not cursed.
All right. Group up back outside, head down to the next door, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
All right. At this doorway, you find nothing in the doorframe, but Ezrah, in your pocket, or wherever you keep it, the Haas Narketa begins to heat slightly,
Oh,
and you begin to feel static rolling off of it in faint bursts.
this might be it. Careful.
All right, go ahead.
You're invincible.
Yeah, but you're all right next to me. Why does it matter if I'm invincible if you're right next to me?
We've already determined that we're not right next to you. This is just
Oh.
easiest for.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
the you
I
got the
understand
you got the
now.
AoE box. If initiative gets rolled, and you get to move around in that box. You get the
Alright,
placement box.
I mean, yeah, if it can be opened, I just open it then since I'm invincible.
Pull open the door.
It's a pull.
And
Okay, it doesn't open in, it opens out.
beyond
That's weird. So the hinges are on the outside.
you find there are no hinges. Beyond, you find a room.
Not how doors work. No, magic still requires hinges.
No, it doesn't. There are doors that do not have hinges, or
Oh.
they have hinges, but the hinges are not exposed.
Yep.
So,
Which ones?
you open the doorway into a chamber. It's dark. It's a little musty in here. There's a doorway to the south. But the dominating feature of this chamber is that in the middle of it, standing back to back, filling the middle of the chamber, are 2 rows of wooden filing cabinets.
Ah, good. The filing room.
Could be important information in there.
Okay. Hey, there looks to be another room in here. Guys.
Okay.
What is your
Takes half a step in.
whatever, is your house party thing in here or is it down there?
Did it feel like it got warmer as I entered the room?
It doesn't seem to be
Or
whatever the
more activated?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be more activated. Whatever the proximity effect is, it seems to be in effect. Not sure if it's going to increase by getting closer.
Unknown. To be continued.
Okay, well, I guess let's look around this room first and then move on to the next.
I'll go check out one of the filing cabinets.
I will
All
not,
right.
because books are dumb.
So,
It's a filing cabinet.
pull open one of the filing cabinets.
Unless books make you more agile, then I'm very
And
interested.
within, find that it is stuffed with files, with dossiers, disorganized bunches of records shoved into individual folders. And the folders all have dates and names on them. Some of these dates go back hundreds of years. And just in this singular cabinet that you open right here, the singular file portion, there's probably 100 or more. If there are files like this in every single one of these cabinets, there are thousands of such dossiers. Each one labeled with a name, a date. Recognize some of the names in this filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Dude, the people that went into making the wolf room?
Your inquiry, again, gonna take some liberties here. Your inquiry garners the attention of the rest of the party. Everyone begins to kind of take notice and drawn to this. Half the dossiers you pull out are so old or so ill cared for that they crumble when you touch them. many of them have an additional tag on the label, aside from a name and a date. Many of them are scrawled with the word deceased. Others are scrawled with the word potential. Still more are scrawled with the word lich. Some of these names some of you recognize, but it is Ezrah,
Shocker.
whose mind works in a specific way and sees a number of names, but it is a blur. File marked potential, Abigail Fyland. Another one, Lydia Searson. Another one, Marta Moonshadow. Another, Ayatodin Guamiel.
Oh man, bro. Ayata didn't give me that file.
Another, Ezrah. Still other files that you find marked deceased. Dozens, hundreds as you potentially break into the other cabinets. But in the same assortment where you find Ezrah, you find Zekle, Barrage, Darabeth, Meltimer, dozens of other names. Ezrah, recognized. You look into them, Ezrah.
Yeah. Almost uncontrollably.
You pull open your father's file. It's not much. A few documents detailing some of his capabilities, some of his exploits, a brief history of who he was as a person, and then a small written note on one of the documents, the margin. It says, "Key to the spark? Question mark. Value in his remains? Question mark. Ask the old fox, or go straight to the source." You open your mother's. There's a photo of her in a little tin frame. Not in color, but might be the first time you've seen your mother's face. Very long time. There's less information on her than there was your father. Oddly less, especially compared to the amount of information that is in much of these files. There's almost nothing on her quote-unquote capabilities. Very little on her history. But there's a piece of parchment with a bunch of blurred lines on it, smudges of ink. as if someone tried to remove what they had written. And then about halfway down, there's regular controlled writing. It says, seems poorly done by the dragonfly. She always did have a possessive streak. Still, such a waste.
Dragonfly.
You open yours?
Yep.
There's a remarkable amount of detail here. Telling your time in Daggerford, your time with your sister in the wilds. Strange details. Details of the burgeoning of your power. Details you had even perhaps forgotten. Or at least not thought about in a long time. Almost all of your exploits in Waterdeep. Your adventures with Gad and Tulip and Aster and then Bones. That night with the storm where your power sparked up in excruciating. And a section written. Burgeoning power, though wild and untamed, like the storm that birthed him, I suppose. Worth keeping eyes on. We'll need to secure the lock, just in case the dragonfly comes calling. These filing cabinets are filled, you now realize, with records on mages. Hundreds of mages.
Can I look up Elminster's file?
You start hunting. In the farthest corner, the farthest back, basically the first cabinet,
Shocker.
in the bottom, all the way at the back, not all the
Damn,
way
that
at the
boy's
back, but pretty
old,
close,
dude.
you find a just ancient folder with barely perceptible reading across the top that says Elmin. And you
What?
you can see from the age of this thing. You touch it and it's just gonna disintegrate. But it's there. It's thick. It's a thick ass boy. But it seems very old, very uncared for, if it hasn't been touched in years. A bygone, forgotten relic, no longer important, no longer considered.
Does the handwriting of any of the notes look familiar?
It's all the same source. Slight changes over the course of time. All to be the same individual.
I pull out my letter from the headmaster of Dwarmacor.
Not
and
the same.
compare it. Okay.
Definitely not the same. And this one is it's more Spartan, it's stricter, it's less nonsense. You have seen its like before, recently, very recently,
Calabash.
No. In the room where you found the homunculus, there were pieces of parchment and things like that scattered about. You didn't investigate overly much because most of it was just shredded nonsense, but the handwriting is close enough to match. At least likely. You were sent to Madgoth's castle. Whatever it might have said on the door once you got here. It seems clearer now. The helmet that you all found, the homunculus that you faced, this. It's mage. Something. There's something going on.
Weird.
Super weird.
Especially considering the location we're in. We're in a tiny castle in the middle of the cavernous floor in the dungeon. Like, how did this place even come to be?
You can be very jealous.
Suspend your disbelief.
And now?
I take a couple of notes and put everything back.
Bones.
You alright, Ezra?
What?
Go ahead.
You good?
Yeah. We're good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Bones, you pocket
Should we continue?
Eotodon's file?
Oh, let me. Yeah. What's in that one? I want to read it. Is it big? Is it like one page? Is it a one sheet?
Reading.
It's not huge, but
I read when it suits me. All right.
It's not huge, but there are a couple of pieces of documentation detailing this elven individual and their attempts to their quest to restore the ancient days of elven supremacy in enchantment.
Well, that's concerning.
The days when the elven civilizations, before the Crown Wars, before the fall of the elves, when elves made beautiful works and enchanted great things.
He just wants to be the best enchanter. Oh, he doesn't want like
There are
elves, everybody else.
There are a lot of exploits in here, and I will say, mentioned in these notes are a half a dozen failed partnerships.
Oh well.
Over the decades.
Okay. Did they say why they failed? Did he kill them or something?
There are
Is he a serial killer?
There are only minor details here or there. It doesn't seem as if it doesn't seem as if the person cataloging the information necessarily cared about that. But some of the partnerships did end due to death. It just doesn't really specify the cause of death necessarily.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. No, I'll just put it back. That's fine. Makes sense to me. He's not like an elf Nazi, so that was good enough. Dude, when you said wants to restore elven supremacy, I was like, oh no, it's an elf Nazi, dude.
Elf Nazi.
Not that type of supremacy. No.
Like, oh, dude.
Was Ezra reading these files to himself? Like, did we hear all of this information?
It's all me reading it quietly. Maybe you heard noises as I'm
reading noises.
Yeah.
Reading noise.
Ah, good old-fashioned reading noises.
Okay. So, there's these cabinets filled with hundreds of dossiers on various mages. What do you want to do now?
Well, did you get your house thing? Did the house thing do its thing?
The what?
Your house in Carta.
No, the house party.
Magna Carta.
No, we haven't found what we're looking for.
Oh, okay. All right then. Well, we'll try this one.
You walk towards that door. Jiggle the handle. It is locked. Very locked.
Okay. Well, all locked doors get checked.
Very
so,
locked.
okay. Very locked means I take an extra long time, do an extra good checking for traps. Okay. Because he said very locked.
He
Do it up.
said very fucking locked.
What am I? I'm perceiving.
Yep.
Oh, okay. A 20. I rolled a 20.
It's always 20s. Just always.
That's because
20s.
anything under a 10 is a 20.
Yeah, it's just all you roll it under a 10 all the time. Always 20s.
It's impossible.
It's locked. It's a solid lock. It's intended to keep intruders out, but it's probably within your realm of capabilities. You find no wires, no strange depressions, no poison-tipped darts, nothing.
Hey guys, it occurs to me that mages don't trap things like I do. So yeah.
You're invulnerable.
Okay, so what, you don't want to look for mage traps then, is what you're telling me?
But you're invulnerable.
Okay, no, I'd like to try and pick the lock, Jeremy.
Okay.
Over here.
Roll a lockpick check.
Thieves' tools. Yeah, I rolled a 20.
Okay. You did you actually you didn't roll a 20, did you?
I'm proficient, and I can't roll less than that.
Okay, so a 20 is actually exactly what you needed to get, so that's funny. So Bones whips out his lock-picking tools and begins setting about, picking this lock, and after a little bit of time, there's a click, and the latch gives, and the door, it doesn't swing open or anything like that, but you twist the door handle so that it opens, and then there is a massive burst of blue across the door as a sigil embossed on the door flares to life.
Mage traps, dude. Fucking mage traps.
And mage traps happen. So, I need... Yeah, no, it's... Absolutely. I need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw. Or DC is... a 22.
God,
No way I was passing that.
I just looked at that and I was like, what?
I can.
Okay.
Roll a 19 or better.
I
no,
cannot
no, no,
pass
19.
Wait,
that.
no, that's
Alrighty then.
18 or better. That's a big fat nope.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you rolled poopy.
5 D8
wow.
results in 14. Make sure you're muted.
Holy crap.
I should
I didn't actually say anything. I just went, ah.
Okay, so
I saw your mouth
there's
open. I
this
just didn't know.
blossom of this blue glyph of warding that surges out. Electricity crackles and pours into the room, surges back and forth across the aisles, coursing through all of you. Everyone failed, so everyone takes 14 lightning damage, except Ezra, you are resistant.
Yeah.
So you would take 7 lightning damage, and then the glyph.
Also evasive.
Oh, right. So evasive individuals would take the 7 as well.
I have a hat on.
Does the hat
Very nice.
negate the?
So Jay's the only person who takes full damage.
Takes the
Bullshit.
14. Right?
Yeah. Does my
Very nice.
hat
Oh,
my hat protect me or not?
the hat does not protect you. You take 7 lightning damage.
Okay. All right. I'm not checking the doors anymore now that we know this bullshit happens.
You are
You're-
unprotected.
You're vulnerable.
Yeah. Now I'm vulnerable again, and
There might have been an unidentifiable clause on that helmet saying that it does not work against Madgoth.
That's not Mad Goth. That's a door.
yeah, that's a door, Jeremy.
That's a
Please
door,
look it up.
Jeremy? Like, excuse me, I would like to point out that that is a door. Speaking of doors, the
Jeremy,
door,
that's a door.
the door clicks open.
Whatever. 7 damage.
Right, like I rolled so poorly on that. The door clicks open. Bones pull the door open, and beyond, find in this stark chamber
700 platinum pieces.
there is a small table with a single slatted chair. Upon the table sits a single piece of parchment and a small box.
Okay. Jacob.
Who's that?
Okay, I go investigate.
Bones walks towards the table. See the small box, you see the parchment, there's writing upon it, but it is not in anything that you recognize.
Okay, so there's just scribbles. Got it. There's a box.
Small box.
Is there anything in it? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Box opens, and there's a velvet interior. Within that interior is a strange item, a mechanism of some sorts, kind of
Yo,
like
now I have a house
s-
party now too, dude.
It's a slight U-shaped, and there's little gears and little wires and pistons and things like that that protrude out of the side of it.
I love wires and pistons and shit.
Right.
Do you wanna
do
come
realize that
investigate
they're
now?
made out of metal, right?
I'm less interested now. Now that you've
Less
reminded me of that.
interested. Metal.
I only want bone-based wires and pistons.
Good luck with that.
That's important. That's important.
What'd you find?
I found this metal piece of shit and a letter with scribbles on it.
Ooh, let me see.
No, you have to enter the room.
I enter the room.
Ezra, you
Fine.
approach.
The second trap
And-
activates.
So
Oh,
the
it's a
box
game.
aggressive.
With the box thrown open, and the heat and electrical surges that you're feeling from the Haas Narketa, it is not any difficulty to identify that this is a piece of the artifact. Not sure how it quite fits together yet, but it's definitely a part of the artifact. And the scribblings on the parchment make sense because it's not written in a language per se, it's written in arcane script.
Oh, yeah, that would make 0 sense to me.
It reads, I do not know who will be reading this letter, and I don't much care to know. After your disastrous attempts at subtlety, I have decided to take a sabbatical. Take that which you seek and leave my domain, but be warned. Should you venture to the academy, you will have trouble from that cold bitch. Do not be here when I return. I may not have Octuria's imagination, but I have Nestor's skill with anti-life energy. Enjoy dying elsewhere.
Words.
Wow. Okay. I leave the note, take the piece, and
As soon as you pick up the piece, there's a loud pop, and a purplish mouth appears above the table.
awesome.
And it says out loud, "Ah, Ezrah! I see you're finally making your way down. I'm eager to see your progress once you arrive at the academy. Don't tarry over long. There are many talented individuals eager for instruction. Toodaloo!" In the purple mouth.
I really hate that man.
Why, he's
Yeah.
so nice. Dude, he gives you presents and shit?
You can't see that he's trying to mold me into a tool?
Yeah, but presents.
You tool.
All bones.
Nobody gives me presents.
Ezra.
I guess the drow kind of do.
The
Just
second
not
piece
fun
of the
presents.
Haas Narketa in your hand, you feel annoyance, frustration at this, apprehension at what you have found in the previous room, being taunted or being teased, being led somewhere. There's a crackle of electricity that runs across the surface of your hand from the second piece of the Haas Narketa up your arm, up the side of your neck, into your eyes. And you do not realize it in the moment, but the rest of you, as this all is happening, as Ezrah is listening to this message, taking all of this in, his vitiligo is being traced by dozens and dozens of electrical patterns flashing across his flesh.
Thick.
It's starting to smell like ozone in here. It's
So boom.
starting to smell like that moment right after lightning strikes.
Oh, you're gonna explode out.
It's there's a flash of brilliant white light as Ezrah and the chamber detonates in
Oh no!
a huge surge of electrical energy.
I don't resist that.
And that is where we are going to go ahead and end tonight's episode. We'll be back to see what happens with this on the next session of Dungeons and Mad Mage. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
I guess.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.